Morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. This is Boyan Petreski coming at you live May 3rd, 2022. The disclaimer is there for your use and your understanding that this is for educational and instructional purposes only. We may lose money, we may make money. That is how the game goes. This is the agenda for today. We're going to look at the current market environment, trade executions, and intraday trade management of everything that we do here. All right, so without much more further ado, let's go ahead and open up our workspace here. Now, of course, if you're not using the TradeStation platform, you won't have something similar to this. However, you can always have the charts open and you'll be able to understand and see what exactly is going on in front of you. So right now, what is it that we are looking for? If this is the first time you're seeing this, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit so I can explain it a little better. Of course, this is the auto climate. It's giving us the climate of each one of these instruments that we are looking at. The first column that we see here is the climate itself. If it is a blue color, that means it is an up climate. If it is a red color, it is a down climate. Pretty self-explanatory there. What we are looking for is something that has a color and is potentially flashing like gold and Russell are flashing right now. And just in case, we're also going to open crude oil because it's fairly close as well. The other ones seem to be a little bit towards the extended range here when it comes to where they are currently in their development. And then, of course, we also see silver down here and the ES on the 60. We also see Nasdaq and the Russell on the 60 flashing. So we have quite the full house here in the beginning of the session when it comes to looking at things. So let's go ahead and start opening some of these charts up so we can look and see what it is that we are dealing with for today. For those of you joining with me here live, please feel free to use the chat box. If you're looking at this recorded, then feel free to drop an email or perhaps a comment over here at tradewithufos.com/Boyan, which, by the way, we do have a brand new website, much more responsive, much easier to navigate as well. Take a look. Let us know what you think. Let's get this open. So we're looking at the Russell on the 15. We said we're going to look at crude on the 15 as well. And the other one was gold on the 15. Just going to open these first, kind of go through the analysis on them first, and then we're going to get started with it. All right, just bear with me for 1 second while everything loads up here. So we'll be getting going fairly shortly here. Okay, looks like we are all loaded up. I just have, yep, there it is. Okay, let me just kind of recenter things here. There we go. All right, so this is the Russell that we're looking at right now. We're going to see what kind of cards were dealt with this morning. I'm gonna zoom in on the 15-minute time frame. This is what we call the common time frame for the Russell. Now, you may see some things that you might be seeing for the first time. That's okay. These flying saucers, these green areas that you're seeing here on your screen, that's our proprietary and patented technology that we utilize to find potential entries and exits. Right now, what we're looking to do is look for an entry, potential entry, because we do have a confirmed climate, a confirmed up climate on the Russell. So now we know we're looking for, the direction. We're looking for a long. Where do we enter that long? Well, we also notice there's a gray number here, 1878.54, also shown up here. That's the 9 EMA. That's the 9 EMA. That's given us the moving average exponential. So we are looking for price of a 9 EMA on this common time frame to be enveloped by a UFO on these other time frames, the 144 tick, 233 share, and 2 minute. These we call our edge time frames because they give us an edge in trading. So 1878, do we see 1878 in a UFO anywhere here? So 1878 is not in a UFO there. It is in a UFO here, and it looks like it is in a UFO here. So therefore, we do have a trade. Let's go ahead and put that on. 1878.5 is the moving average. Let's just put it there, see where it lands us here on these charts. So we could go a little bit more aggressive. So we could get in at the top of this UFO, which is 1878.9. So there it is, 1878.9. Now, where do we put our stop? Where do we put our targets? This is how we go about it. Stop has to be in the white space below a UFO since we're going long. The lowest that we see right now is 1875.8. So 1875.8 is here. So one tick below is right there. All right. So that's our potential. That's our exit right there. So if we are wrong, we will be out at 1878, 1875.7. So we're looking at 1875.7. We're looking at 3.2, so plus 78.9. So 82.1 needs to be our, I have chart trading here, yes. 82.1 needs to be our T1. 82.1. That's weird. It wasn't really showing it like it usually shows it. I'm just going to move my T2 up here. All right, so we have our T1 and T2 set up. That's all, fine and dandy. Now, where is it that we go from here, though? We need to find our final target, which our final target is going to be on this common time frame down below. We're gonna zoom it in again and see if we have anything up above. And look at that, we do. We have an opposing UFO up here starting at 1907. So that's gonna be our final target, 1907. All right. Other than that, looks like price came fairly close. 8 to 1878.9. Actually, it looks like it came a tick away, guys. So it came a tick away, did not fill us. Let's go ahead and change this to 1907. There we go. I think we're in 1907. Replace that. Done. All right. Yeah, I don't think we fully got filled. I'm going in with 2 quantity here. It barely wicked on it. Yeah, it didn't fill the full position. I think it filled one, which is interesting to see because, we're on sim. So let me just go ahead and take a screenshot of this so we know what it is that we got going on here for us. All right. So we can look back on it and say, hey, this is what we looked at. And it made sense because, oh, there we go. I just found a mistake. Our stop actually needs to be 74.10, 74. So that's why we always do this too. All right, so we're looking at 74 even needs to be our stop. I apologize about that. And 245 needs to be our T1. All right, looks like the Russell, interestingly enough, looks like it barely wicked to the 2022 0503. This is the RTY 50-minute setup. All right. Looks like the Russell didn't wick enough even on sim to get a fill. So, there's probably a low probability to to have gotten filled on live. So unless this comes down and tests again, we may not, not all of us may have gotten filled. If you did get filled, because I do see there's a few of you following here live, let me know in the chat box if you did get filled, because I didn't get filled on my end either, on my live account. So yeah, I guess we'll kind of let that run as it does. We may get a fill right now on a retest. Yeah, no, Harry, you didn't get filled either. Okay. Yeah, well, we may get a retest right now. We're only 3 ticks away, so let's see. In the meantime, let's take a look at gold. All right, gold. First up climate on the 15 here, 1861.8. 1861.8 is the current moving average, which is right here. Now, if price were to fall down, would this UFO at 61.7 work? Most likely, yes. 61.7 and 61.3. So I'm actually going to go in a little bit more conservatively here at 61.5. At 61.5. 61.5 right there. And I'm going to have my stop right below that. So it's going to be at 59.9. Okay. So 61.5 to 59.9. That's 1.6. So 1.6, that's going to be 3.1. That's our T1. And now for our T2, let's go with what we have right in front of us here, which is 1877.5. All right, so 1877.5 is going to be the final target, 1877. And I'm just going to stop for a little bit, so 1877.5. To kind of just go over them. I'm going to take a screenshot of this as well, because as of right now, right, it makes sense. But just in case it doesn't, we're going to go ahead and cancel it in case it starts not making sense. And then just kind of talk about it a little bit more. There we go. All right. Save 2022 0503 GC 50-minute setup. All right, that was pretty good so far. Like, we were only a couple of minutes into the session, and we already got a couple of trades that we have. One that's partially filled, even on Sim, which is rare to see. I'll be very honest with you. Usually, Sim just kind of gives you like the best case scenario, like almost immediate or slash guaranteed fills. Not necessarily the case always, as you see right now. Obviously, I didn't get filled on the full position, and I only got 2 contracts on Sim. So let's let's see what we're gonna do with that. In the meantime, I'm just fixing something here on my end. Should be done in just a sec. There we go. All right, and chart trader. There we go. All right, good. Okay, so we may get a fill right now. Only a few ticks away again. We couldn't go in more aggressively because we do not have another UFO anywhere near. My God, did it really go a tick down to entry again? What a teaser! My God. Let me just, I think it went a tick above. Yeah, right there. As we see, the low is 79. Our entry is 78.9. So it went to tick. So, this may come a little bit deeper now, which is not going to be unexpected if it does retest. If not, it may just end up running. Either way, our position is set. We're looking good. Gold is also set, a little bit far away. Crude. I haven't loaded crude. Let's take a look for crude. So something that I almost always do, even though I know what it is. Something that I always do is it's very easy to go to this one. I'm going to share it on the chat box here. Um, just go to here, barchart.com, most active futures. And whatever it is that you're trading, whether it's the currencies, the financials, whatever it is, always take a quick peek here. It never hurts. Believe me when I tell you, it never hurts. And sometimes you will actually see before your platform switches it over, before your platform tells you that it's rollover time, you'll actually see the volume flip a day ahead, or maybe sometimes 2 days ahead. As you see right now in crude oil, there's 20,000 contracts in July, 78 in June. So we're going to stick with June. However, there's going to come a point where before your platform rolls it over, it'll ask you to. I'm sorry. Before your platform rolls over, whoa! I guess we missed the train on that, huh? Okay. I, there we go. I think we just got filled on both contracts on the Russell. All right. So now we got both contracts, risking 490 on this trade. So 490 to make 1405 plus the 245 to the 1 to 1, so 1650, and risking 490, so about a 1 to 3. Actually, a little bit more than 1 to 3. Now that I got filled, I'm going to take a screenshot of this again because obviously this is at a different time than we originally took the screenshot. So I'm just going to override it because this is when we finally got our full fill. Now this is pre-market hours, so you could or you could not, up to you, follow the time stop rule that we have for trade management on intraday trades. That time stop rule goes something like this. This is our candle of fill. This is when we got filled on the full position. We got 1, 2, 3 candles that we leave this on for. And if this does not work in this period of time between these purple lines, and I also like to put a little rectangle here so you can see it easily and visually. If within this colored purple rectangle we do not get a fill to our T1 or a fill to our stop, we can go ahead and exit this trade at market. So that is a permission that we have that we could do, regardless if it's making money, losing money, a little bit, half of it, doesn't matter. You have permission to do it. Now, whether or not you follow that is entirely up to you. I would say something that I did for myself is just back test to see how it works. And okay, let me just do a quick data reload. I guess we have this UFO just formed here. Let me just double check. Yeah, this UFO just formed here because when we were looking at this, it was definitely not here. So there's a brand new UFO that formed on the 15-minute time frame. That would essentially be our final target. But as you see right now, we are within it. We are within it. So therefore, we have permission to trade it to the other side because the trade was filled and even analyzed before this came to be. It definitely isn't, the greatest of news for us. But again, we do see that sometimes the climate is much more powerful than an opposing UFO. So we're going to see how this ends up working out. I'm just going to keep this like this, nicely visually open so we can all see how it develops. All right. Gold still looking, valid where we are right now, entering at 61.5. Um, that's going to be actually 62.4, 62.1. Um, this one is at 61.8. Actually, this one may miss just for a little bit. Look at that. Moving average at 62 even, and currently is at 62. Yep, this would be entering below, so we're going to go ahead and cancel gold. I thought if price were to come down, it's going to align the moving average, which is currently 62, and you see price is 62.1. I thought the price will align fairly closely to the UFO that I was entering, but I was actually missing it by essentially 4 ticks. So that is why I canceled that trade. It would not have met the criteria for us, even though you might say, it's only 4 ticks. If you can help it and if you can see it in front of you, right? We all make mistakes. You can make a mistake and this would have filled. That's okay. But if we're seeing it and we're entering not according to the plan, that means we know we're doing something wrong and just going along with it anyway. And that's not okay. So because I saw it, I was able to cancel it. If even if that means missing out on a trade, because I'd rather follow my plan 100% and miss out on a trade rather than follow my plan 0% and get in a trade. So that's just how my trading works and operates. Okay, 103.83. Yeah, this will be like all the way up here, even if it even works. As you see, oil took a dive, pretty steep dive, all the way from 104 all the way down to 103. That's $1,000 move. Okay, that's $1,000 move in a matter of, watch this, right? We got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 minutes, right? In 10 minutes, $1,000 is what oil moved right now from this kind of sideways action area all the way down to 103, actually 102, as you see in the 80s and 70s. So steep move. Oil is moving. So when you are going in the right way, it could easily go to your not just T1 but T2. We've actually seen that in our sessions where it actually gets to a T2 within the session, which is rare, but when it happens, it's pretty cool. All right, so here we go. This is now the third candle that we've had this trade open for. If we don't get which is probably not going to happen, if we don't get stopped out or we don't get our T1, we'll just close this for a small loss and call it a day for that trade. We're not going to call it a day just because we got one time stop. Let's take a quick glance here. Everything's pretty much looking kind of like that. 6 out of 7, 6 out of 8, 6 out of 7, 6 out of 6. So they're all fairly extended on the movement upwards. I do want to open the ES and the Nasdaq on the 60 minute just to see what we're working with there. So the ES on the 60 and the NQ on the 60. In the meantime, I think that was that for the Russell. Yep, so we're going to go and close that right there. And take a screenshot. $22, 503. That's the RTY 15-minute exit, time stop, small win. is what the Russell gave us there. So nothing crazy. All right, so gold created a new UFO right there, and this one at 2.0. So this one will definitely work at 63. Let's go ahead and put our entry there, and this is going to be a much smaller risk trade as well, only 11 ticks. So that was not bad at all right now. So let's take a look at that. Next, it may give us a pretty decent fill if, and then we said the T2 is going to be 1907. Place that, and then let's take a screenshot of this and override the one we had from earlier, because obviously that one did not work. Okay. Now let's take a look at the ESM22 and at NQM22. All right, and actually look at that. The Russell actually ended up tanking a little bit lower right now, quite a bit lower than where it was. So let's see what we have here on 1877. That's within this UFO, so I'm going to take this at market. I'm going to move my stop down fairly quickly. All right, let's get this stuff set up properly. Start moving some things around here. Obviously, we're 3 minutes before the open, so I want to be, I definitely want to be part of this movement here. Let's just go ahead and quickly move this stuff around because we don't want to miss out on it. So 56.5 is the low there. So 56.5 is there. So 56.25 is the stop here. And our T1 is going to be at right here. Of course, if you're not comfortable with these numbers, you're more than welcome to take them on a micro trade. That should not be okay. So what is this one here? We have 13 154.5. 13 154.5. 13 154.5. So that's on the Nasdaq. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this. Save that. So we got 2022 0503. This is the NQ 60-minute setup with 60-minute trades. Obviously, there's a little bit more risk. That's not anything new, I think. Anybody? So let's go ahead and get this set up here. Okay. And it is at 1175, and our stop is at 056.25. All right. T2 is at 145.5. 145.5, and I'll just leave one runner there. Okay, that one's set. Now let's just keep an eye on our climate here. That's looking good. Market's about to open. We're about to go off to the races. Okay, looks like we're pushing down fairly hard. Might be a stop out. We'll see. ES is also, yep, that's the stop. RTY, interestingly enough, pushed up and then down. So we're going to see what's going to happen there with the Russell. Still confirmed up climbing and actually a brand new confirmation here. So what do we have here on the Nasdaq? Yeah, Nasdaq just took a nosedive. Interestingly enough. Okay. Yep, quite the deep push down here. 67 was the moving average. 68, 67. And let me just take a look at the how the news is. I think we had some couple of things that we're reporting today. According to the economic calendar, we have factory orders is coming up, but nothing else of importance here. Maybe we're just seeing some weakness there. Let's see how the ES is doing. Pretty similar, actually. Ooh, the ES is only now around the buying point, so I'm going to go in on that. Okay, let's do that. The ES is now finally at a point of purchase, let's call it. Let's set up the trade here, because we do have a UFO there and a UFO. Oh man, I couldn't even move it by the time this ended up going. Sorry, folks. Yeah, I mean, that right here at 41, 49, 77 was the right call there. Oh, looks like gold. Gold ended up running quite a bit. Holy cow. All right, so gold filled us and is running quite nicely. All right, let's go into this, because obviously this is an active trade. We do have a new UFO. Nice pop on gold. So let's get into this. Right, pretty active session today. All right, so let's move our stop. Look at that, risking $100 on this one. So we can move our stop now to below 62.8, so 62.7. All right, now if you're not feeling comfortable with leaving this much money on the table, remember we do have something that we use as too fast, too far rule, which I'm going to visually demonstrate here. I think it was around here. So for every increment that that this moves up for, I think we were at 11 ticks. So around here. That's weird. So right now, I think our stop was around here somewhere. I'm going to have to take a look at the screenshot. But essentially speaking, if gold moves for, one increment, doesn't make a new UFO, and then it moves for another increment and it does not make a new UFO above that, you could essentially move your stop, right? You can move your stop from here to basically break even. Right now, we have multiple UFOs. So you just move your stop to right below them. Okay? And that's what we've done here. As you see, the our stop is at 62.7. The UFO stops at 62.8. Right? So that's where we are right now with gold. So it made a pretty nice move. The ES also kept running. I couldn't move the what's it called, the stop and the exit in time to be able to properly execute on this. Nasdaq also took a pretty substantial push up and then now pushing down. The ES right back at it where we pulled from, which the UFO is still valid, is still there, However, we're at 41.52 here. So, anyways, we're not going to count that trade as even though it made money, we're not going to count that trade um, on the ES at all because obviously it wasn't executed properly. The NQ trade, I do have to take a screenshot for that. This was a full stop. So 2022 0503. This is NQ 60-minute exit full stop. And obviously it ran up after the stop, but quite a bit after. Came to this low here at the 13,000. Wow, look at that, man. 13,000 even. On the NQ, that's where it stopped and ran from. All right, now the UFO here is gone. There's no UFO here anymore. So it was filled. The Russell would have stopped us out and then ran to our T1. Right? Sometimes that's just the way. Sometimes that's just the way things go when it comes to the market at the open. It can be extremely volatile, and that's okay. We're here for both the calm times and the arguably not so calm times. All right, so we do have a new UFO up here that ends at 66. So I'm going to go ahead and move my stop to 65.9. All right, so this is definitely going to be a profitable trade. As you see, from T1 we made money, and now from T2 we're going to be capturing 290 bucks. We're just trailing this. This keeps going higher. Obviously, we'll just keep trailing and trailing until eventually it stops out. Crude actually did end up going all the way to that 103 area. 103.91 is within this UFO. So actually, we missed on the trade here at 103.85 to short it. 104.05. Oh, the UFO just disappeared right in front of our eyes. And as soon as that happens, technically speaking, if we caught this like literally seconds, if not, what is it? Yeah, less than 2 minutes ago. If we caught it less than 2 minutes ago, you would have been in this trade, and you would have been, fine to keep it on. But unfortunately, we didn't, and that's just the way things are sometimes. So, yeah. Other than that, this is the fourth 15-minute increment down that crude oil is going for. So that's okay. Looks like it is pushing up a little bit higher again. Gold doing its thing. We're still in the trade. Russell pushing down below the moving average. ES sticking around, lots of movement back and forth. Sometimes, folks, the reason why I go into these and then I put them on, and it may seem rushed and everything, but believe me, that's if you were on your own without me having to talk and show, you would just be click, 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 click all the time because that's how it is when you're doing intraday trading around when the opportunities present themselves. If you're not, and I'll be frank with you, you're doing it wrong. A lot of times it's like watching paint dry. There's not much going on. And, you got to be okay with the fact that you got to move quick on this stuff. And, I can try to, sugarcoat it and say that, hey, if you take it slow and you do one trade at a time, you can do it. I would say for intraday trading, no. You have to be able to be quick on the trigger, look at a chart, and understand your setups to the point where you can say, okay, this is a setup. Let me go in at market, and then I'm going to adjust my T1 and T2. Now, if I wasn't talking, it would be a lot easier for me to adjust them. Um, and also, it's a lot easier to execute on a platform that's a little bit more, a little faster to move things around on. Whether it's Infinity Futures or Ninja Trader or AMP Futures, something like that, where it's a very bare bone minimum type of a platform that you're just using to execute on. You're not using it to do your analysis on. Okay, 75. So 78, still a little bit below the UFO there and the moving average. ES is kind of sticking around. NQ is definitely the weakest of the three that we have open right now. Right now, you see all of them ended up turning. NQ on the 15-minute is already a sensible short with a 1.1 ATR away. So I'm going to open that. Let's look at the NQ on the 15. Here it is. The NQ on the 15. All right, here we go. Oh, nope, that's far. I was like, do we have a trade? Short? No. As you see, the moving average is at 71. If it were to get pushed up, do we see it going to 89? I would probably say no, but it'll most likely be somewhere within this upper UFO here that starts at 1362. So probably around this one here at 1362 is where it would be. As we see, Nasdaq is definitely the weakest. Still a sensible long on the 60-minute and a 60-minute UFO right there. So that's probably going to give it a little bit of a support. ES also lifting Russell as well. Okay, now the Russell may actually have another setup here. As you see, it's at 79. This is 78. So this is a setup that we could buy at market. Now, I just want to be able to move this stuff out of the way. Like, see how choppy and laggy that is? Like, it's not how a platform for day trading should behave. 73.3 would be our stop. So risking 580 there. So this is going to be up here. And this has to be a little further up. Our final target was all the way up there at 1907. I think I made a mistake earlier on gold. Oh my God. 1907. So we're taking this again with the Russell, giving it another shot. So 2022 0503, and this is RTY again, 15-minute setup number 2 on the Russell. 73.3 is the stop, and T1, as I said, is at 1884.9. Whew, what a nosedive. Jesus. Wow. Man, that looked promising, right? That looked promising. And then I got slapped. 2022-0503 RTY, 15-minute exit, and this is also number 2, full stop. Okay, gold still hanging in there. Still hanging on. That's nice. Crude. Unconfirmed climate. Most likely won't get confirmed because it's the last 15-minute of the session. A new UFO that was filled already refilled there. So we get to move it a little bit higher here. This is at 66.2. There we go. For gold. Nicely and steadily moving up. Whereas these guys are just jerking around. All right. On this one, we have an unconfirmed climate. So we're going to close it. On the 60-minute, unconfirmed as well. Close it. And on the 15-minute, on the Nasdaq, we're probably still a confirmed down. Yep, still confirmed down. Climate 1350 is the moving average, which is way up here at 1350. As you see, it's just tanking on down. On the Nasdaq here, Russell unconfirmed. I was really hoping it's going to get confirmed to the downside here, because then we could just take it to the downside from this UFO from here, 1875. But it's not doing it, so we got to wait for it. And gold, hold it on slowly but surely. Okay, ES on the 15-minute is also a sensible short, so let's go ahead and open that up in case it retests. ES on the 15 is a sensible short. Let's take a look at that. Wow, look at that UFO. It is only close to 20 points. That's a little nuts. All right, 4150 is the moving average. 4150 is up there. Okay, oh, nice. The big UFO got broken. That's good. So now that opens the gateway to potentially getting in short here at 4150. All right. So 4150. Okay, I'm just gonna sell it at market here because it's not really, giving us anything to do. And gotta love TradeStation, man. You can't make this stuff up. You really can't make this stuff up. Is what it comes down to. As I grab the T1 to move it down, what does it do? It moves it up and then it ends up stopping it out. That's just crazy. Oh boy. So what do we got for this? Okay, it's got overlapping UFOs there. So yeah, fun stuff, to say the least. Just trying to see. There's too many overlapping UFOs here. I'm just trying to see which one is where. We could just skip them all and go down to 4,100, but we don't have to. Unbelievable. It's a little frustrating to see it. When you see it set up like that, that would have been a T1 with a probably a small winner, but it is what it is. At least gold is working for us. So let's move our stop to 67.2. So 67.2, slowly but surely inching on up. It's really nice to see it when it works like that. Our T2 again is way up there at actually it's not at 1907 because that was a mistake from earlier. Um, our we should just close this right now because in 1907, I remember that number um, from the Russell. So this is 1869 2 is where we should have taken our T2 at. So we've already made a little bit more money than we would have expected. So, um, we can keep trailing this one because that's how we started. But right now, where we were supposed to get out was essentially right here. So I'll just go ahead and close this trade, record this as um, a T2 winner. 2022 0503 GC 15-minute exit T1 and T2 reached. Okay, so that one ended up running to the positive a little bit more. That was just from memory going on the Russell's 1907. Like if we go on the 15-minute on the Russell, you see 1907 was actually the Russell's opposing T2 target. 1907 right there is the price, 1907. I copied that 1907 to gold, and that's not what the right target was for gold. So, a bit of a sideways. Okay, the ES on the 15 near the sensible short at the 51. That's the one that we did take earlier. Now there's a green UFO there. However, this could easily generate a new red UFO. Most likely will right here. Yep, there it is. This does not meet the entry criteria though. The reason why, moving average at 51 and this ends at 50. This one does. All right, so 48. So we could go at market here as well. And if we can click that button and then move these around and maybe we'll actually get something out of this. So 57. Okay. The UFO disappears, so that's fun. 57.5, so 775 there. So 775 here for the T1. T2 would have to be, as we said, skipping these two. T2 is down here at 4,100 even. So T2 is at 4,100 even. There it is. All right. Still a confirmed down climate. Stop at 57.5 is fine. It's also above the recent 5-minute high. All right, but now we're finding some strength, it seems. Okay, the Nasdaq is about to hit a UFO here at 51. Didn't quite make it there. Moving average at 63. Yep, there goes the UFO. So this UFO up above is the better entry for the Nasdaq at 62. That can be taken at 62. Stop would be at 80.25. Okay, 80.25. And we have 80.25 minus 62, 18.15. 43.75 would be T1, 43.75 T1, and T2 would be way down here at 12.84, 8.42.5. 12.842.5. 12.842.5. 12.842.5. All right, so we do still have the ES open right there. It's not doing a whole bunch. We have two new UFO. Ooh, wow, okay. That's fun. That's fun. All right, I think we're probably in the NQ. And the NQ is also kind of moving a little crazy. And there's that. Okay, well, this was definitely an interesting and yet very sideways day that ended up not making a whole bunch of money, not losing a whole bunch either, but it's not, it's definitely, it wasn't the typical day that you would see, mainly because there's just been a lot of sideways action. But, it was one of those days. Important thing was we kept our composure. We kept going into trades according to our plan. It didn't work out. That's okay. It'll happen sometimes. And that's how it is. Um, looks like we picked the top there. So it is what it is. But yeah, that's that. Still a confirmed down climate on the NQ, but the trade that we had there, that's the one that we took. That's the one that we executed on. And that's the one that was according to the plan. Right now, we don't have anything else. Um, you know, Expecting to see another push down here if it does, and it maybe create a new UFO. However, if it pushes up, then obviously it may create a new green UFO, which is not going to work with the climate. But here's the push down. And on an almost immediate reversal, which is just crazy. So yeah. Anyways, thank you guys. It wasn't an easy session to trade with. I hope you took some of these. Some of these definitely felt like they were rushed, but that's just how trading the markets is sometimes. You have to make sure you catch them, and sometimes when you catch them, they end up working a little bit and then working against you, and that's okay. All right, so I will catch you next time. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.